Hey, what's up? My name is Nelson, and today I'm going to be talking about Sonic the Hedgehog 2. After settling in Green Hills, Sonic is eager to prove he has what it takes to be a true hero. His test comes from Dr. Robotnik's return, this time with a new partner, Knuckles. In search for an emerald that has the power to destroy civilization, Sonic teams up with his own sidekick, Tails, and together they embark on a global trouting journey to find the emerald before it falls into the wrong hands. Well, that is pretty much all I'm going to say. This is a spoiler-free review. I want to start off with talking about the cast. Ben Schwartz is back as Sonic, and I love his voice for Sonic. I know it's not the voice in the video games or anything, but I feel like he really kills it. And I feel like he really killed it in the first one, and this one is no exception. He is so good as Sonic. James Marsden and Tika Sutter, they're back, and they are the couple from the first one that take Sonic in, and they do good for the most part. Gotta talk about Jim Carrey as Dr. Robotnik. Every scene he's in, he just completely steals the show. He is so awesome as Eggman, and it just totally kills it. And he's just so wacky, and just they couldn't have picked anybody any better than Jim Carrey. He owns this role. And if this is it for Jim Carrey, that's going to be super sad, because for one of my favorite actors growing up, and for two, no one could ever play Mr. Robotnik ever again. He has solidified how this character should be, and I just don't see anybody ever playing this character as well. But the biggest standout for me was definitely Idris Elba as Knuckles, and he's so good. And him and Jim Carrey work off of each other so well. I want to talk about the comedy. That brings me into the comedy. The comedy in this movie, we'll get into some of that, some of what I didn't like, but the comedy, when they are on screen together, their comedy works so... Their comedic tone for the movie, the two together, was so perfect. And I just love seeing them team up in the beginning of this movie. It really worked for me. The CGI characters, I feel like they looked better in this one than they did in the first one, because I feel like when a normal character, a human character, touches Sonic in this one, or like puts their hand on his shoulder, it looks way more realistic than it did in the first one. This is some of the best CGI human interactions that I've seen in a long time, and it really worked. The action in this is so good too. That ending, you're gonna see Sonic and Knuckles take on each other, and it is just a wicked fight. And the fights with the slow motion that they used in the first one, it comes back when he's fighting the robots and you see him taking them down. Really worked for me. And there's the scene you see in the trailer where Sonic is snowboarding, and that scene, it looked really good. A lot of these shots in this movie looked really well done. And just the coloring and stuff for the movie really worked for me. But I do have a few negatives, and a lot of it has to do with the humans in the movie. Especially the wedding part. You see in the trailer there's a wedding, and I found myself just not really caring about what was going on with that. And it works when we get done with that part in the second act and we get into the third act, because the third act is amazing. First act worked really well. It got really slow in the second act, and when we're at that wedding and stuff and just interacting with just humans and no Sonic, that just didn't really work for me. There wasn't a lot of that, so it's not a huge complaint. It didn't take a lot away from the movie, but for the most part, it was alright. I just felt very bored when they were interacting with the humans and just the humans. There's also a scene that's basically just supposed to be for comedy, and it's at a bar, and I know they had the bar scene in the first one, and that really worked. Well, they brought back another bar scene, and it didn't work for me. I was like, what's going on? And it's the only part in the movie with the actual CGI'd characters that I was kind of feeling a bit like, this is out of place. Could have taken this out. This is a 2-hour runtime. They could have taken that scene completely out, and it would have not bothered me at all. And some of the comedy in this, it a lot to do with the wedding stuff. It did not. Some of it just did not land for me. I just wasn't laughing. I could tell that I could tell when they paused, and it was like I was supposed to laugh, and it just wasn't at all working for me. But overall, this was a good time, and I did end up enjoying myself more in this one than I even did in the first one, and I really, really liked the first one. And that first one, I have a soft spot for it because it was the last movie that I got to go see in theaters before, the pandemic happened and everything shut down. So that movie does definitely hold a special place in my heart, and I did feel like this one was a bit better. It has a lot to do with Knuckles being in it, because he was definitely, him and Jim Carrey were my two favorites, and also Sonic. But for my score for this movie, I'm going to give it a 73%. Like I said, really, really good. Really, really fun time at the movie theaters. There was lots of kids at my screening, and they were all laughing and having a good time, so really, really enjoyable to take the kids to. If you like what I'm doing on this channel, like and subscribe. Follow me on Instagram at Nelson Reviews. Follow me on Letterboxd at Nelson48. Peace out.